All right, hi everybody, and welcome to this session of our D&D recap story. We run a D&D session amongst me, who you would know as Christopher Rich or Chris Snider, and who you would formerly know as Crunkman, but now you know him as Aaron Aldridge. Uh, I'm gonna still call him Crunk here and there. So
Yeah.
just so you know, and this is going to be our D&D recap. Normally we have Tyler Ferguson, which you guys would know him as Tyler Ferguson from FMW, all of them guys.
And
I
Jack Light.
and Jack Light. I play Lee Dark, and you can follow that story if you guys haven't watched Fat Money Wrestling or CWC, which is on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock p.m. is FMW, and Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. is CWC, Central Standard Time for both of those. But what we're going to talk about today is the recap story to bring you all up to date on our D&D campaign. Now, this is a homebrew campaign. That means that not all things are going to align with all things that other DMs do, which is per the rules. It says in the DM handbooks that, everything is subject to change, and that's exactly what we've done here. This is a world. I've took some things from other worlds, brought them into this world, and we're calling it Fatopia. Uh, Chris Snider plays one of the characters, obviously, Rich Dogmore, and then Aaron Aldridge plays another character, which is Angus Dangum.
A lot of fun coming up with that name.
And I'll let both of them.
And I would just like to note that it was Rich Dogmeyer, but nobody could freaking remember that, so they just started saying Dogmore.
That is very true. As you guys have learned over the years, if you've watched FMW, I'm not very fluent with the English language, which is my only language, so I should be, but I'm not. And um, and you guys will hear more from them. They are going to recap. They will explain their characters, and we will also throw in Tyler's character, Horcrux, and make sure we explain a lot of him as well. Horcrux Connellier, and we will explain more of as much as we can of him before we get started, and then starting not this coming Wednesday, from when you guys will see this, but the Wednesday after that, we will be posting our recorded sessions for everyone to see, and that's why we are doing this recap video. All right. I am the DM for the session, as I've explained, and so I will give you guys a little bit of insight, and then I will hand it off to starting with Chris, and then Chris will hand it off to Aaron, and then we will all go back and forth to try to bring everyone up to date. Like I said, this is a homebrew campaign, Fatopia, and we started in the town of Renovia. And now I gave each of them a reason that they were all going to meet, and reason they were all heading to a certain place. And we started with Rich. Rich has a strange upbringing, which I'll let him explain here in a moment, and which led him to this place because there's two people in this town of Renovia that own a little bakery restaurant type deal and a blacksmith shop that are in the same building. Betty and Bob, who really helped raise Rich after the events unfolded as they did. And Rich, do you care to take it off from there?
Yeah, and I don't want to correct the DM, but
Oh,
we actually started on Stormwreck Isle.
Oh, did I thought you guys all like were you started in your place and then headed from there to Stormwreck Isle? Because I remember
No,
you
we
guys
we
crossing on a
we got
boat
off
to
the
get there.
boat. We got on Stormwreck. We got off a boat on Stormwreck Isle, and the first thing we saw were zombies.
Well, that part's true, but I think we started in Renovia, or at least close to, or at least you did, and then you talked to Bob, and then you headed from there to, at least that's what my notes say.
Uh, well, in any case, I had a very dark reason for going to Stormwreck Isle. Was that I was looking for the I was hunting down the man who raped and murdered my sister, and I was basically looking for vengeance. And I remember getting to Stormwreck Isle and us facing zombies, and one of my companions was Mr. Dangum here, and oh, I'm a human fighter, by the way. That is my race and class, I guess, what it is.
Yep.
So I'll hand it off to Angus now.
Well, my name in the game is Angus Degum, and my reasoning for being there was I was having reoccurring dreams of death, and I was seeking answers for that, and found them there, and just started with with Rich Dogmore and Horcrux, and let the
Oh, we should
adventures
mention
begin,
Crib
I
too.
guess.
Should mention Kriv too. He said he was just throwing in Kriv.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let one of y'all throw him in.
Kriv was a little dragonborn character that had been with Rich for a long time because they grew up together because their dads, as you guys will find out later, were partners, so you say, or at least Kriv's dad, Acrivis, Acrivis, uh, he was like the henchman to Rich, uh, Rich's dad, Ross.
Yeah,
So you guys all headed to Stormwreck Isle. Horcrux, Kriv, Angus, all that. They were on Stormwreck Isle. If you guys have not seen the Stormwreck Isle campaign, it changed a little bit when we went there and we did a bunch of things. They ran into that's where they found out that uh, Rich's dad was still alive. They found him. Well, at least Rich thought he seen him, and then it was confirmed later that he did. And they put the stone back to stop zombies from attacking the Stormwreck Isle. Eventually, learning everything they needed to learn, Horcrux went there because he was carrying a letter only Renara could decode, which when he got it decoded, it more or less found out that he was wanted. He was a wanted man. And let's see. All right, you guys got through Stormwreck Isle. You did everything you needed to do. There's a lot of things accomplished. Rich, towards the end of that beginning segment, what was everything that you remember walking away back to town with? Like, as in, like knowledge and maybe items.
Well, as far as knowledge, we thought my dad was dead, but we found out he's not, or like you said, who we thought was. I thought I saw him, and I believe didn't we find like the cloak of invisibility and my mom's bloody dress and a couple of other things like that?
Yes, you did. There was items that were sure to be your father's in that cave we went to on Stormwreck Isle, and the blink ring. If you guys remember the blink ring,
Oh yeah, the blink ring.
yeah, which kind of funny because today's campaign, I think everyone forgot about the blink ring completely. So that's funny. Anyway, but we we get back to town and everyone stays together. Uh, they go to Rich's mansion after visiting with Bob and Betty and getting something to eat. I believe in that time, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You guys might have burnt some nipples. Um, you guys
Oh yeah.
might have
Yes.
you guys might have smashed
King.
a lot
I
of
just
Betty's
remember.
cooking. Um, and
I remember Angus kept saying, "I want to see the king." I want to see the king.
And the big thing is you guys met one of the three witches of our campaign, Libetha.
Who gets kidnapped more than Princess Peach?
Well, what makes this funny with me demanding to see the king to the guard is I'm a
Dwarf,
I'm a dwarf, so I'm you know I'm sitting there like
4 foot.
I want to see the king. I want to see the king.
And Horcrux is a tiefling. I think we should add.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Horcrux is a tiefling. The other big thing about Horcrux is he's wanted. He's wanted all throughout the land. And so in order for Horcrux to be with them, he's wearing
I can't let
the
the cat out.
the cloak of invisibility and walking around you guys. And he's the one that burnt. He stuck his hand out of the cloak and uh burnt nipples is what we call him
Yes.
now. He's not allowed to be called anything else. Although I'm the DM, I have accepted that rule from the party because they're the one that established. They said I'm not allowed to call him by his. I don't even remember what his name was now
I
because
don't even know.
yeah
No.
yeah. But and
What are we
I
talking
should
about?
note that in today's campaign he's now had his nipples burnt twice. So that is an ongoing thing. Um, and yeah. So anyway, we get through all that. You guys go down into the castle in search of the king. And what do you guys discover?
I believe that was where we first came across Medusa, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Medusa and her spider babies that
We found out one thing.
Yeah.
would you
Stomping on spider eggs is a very bad idea.
Yeah, some dummy did that.
you're that dummy.
I wasn't going to call out anybody.
Well, I'm calling it out because I'm trying to tell it how it is. Okay.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Just the facts. So, my buddy stomps on spider eggs. Didn't work out for the group there. Luckily, though, they did win. They escaped with their lives, and now they have Medusa hot on their tail. She wants these guys dead, right? And so who does she team up with? Well, the man that we're about to find out is for sure still alive. Because
Ross Dogmore.
we get back to the mansion, and guess who's there? Dun 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 dun! They chase him. He goes through a portal in the back bedroom of the house. Uh, and then you guys decide. What'd you guys decide? Do you remember?
It slips my mind.
You guys
I
wanted.
remember at some point we had to find Libetha, and we had to go through
Yeah.
the portal in her house
Yeah.
where we had to sacrifice a goat or something.
That's exactly what happened. You guys decided that you needed to know where this portal went. You couldn't use it. You tried. You went and searched chests. This is when you discovered the rest of the items that you guys have since lost some of these, haven't you? But we'll talk about that in a little later.
Mhm.
And they find the rest of their items. One of the big items they find is Rich's inheritance, which he spends a good chunk of it, like as soon as he could, basically.
He burning a hole in
We
his
still don't know
pocket.
exactly what on.
We have it narrowed down to like 3 or 4 things, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And we need to go find Libetha because they need to figure out. They're pretty sure it was Ross Dogmore in their house, which later it turned out to be Acrivis, who was trying to get something for Ross. And they need to figure out how to go in this portal. But instead, they get to Libetha's, and they find blood. They follow the blood back to a portal in the back room. They have to then sacrifice. What did you guys sacrifice the first time?
If I remember, it was like
It was a goat, I think.
I thought it was a smaller animal.
I thought the second time was a goat,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think so. I think
It
that the first time it may have been like a squirrel or a rabbit or something.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was something easy that they found real quick. They got in that portal. They go to basically uh what's Dracula's essentially Strahd, which if you guys
Yeah.
haven't read The Curse of Strahd, I suggest you do, and then you write on Reddit on which order you're supposed to actually go in and help a brother out because that book is difficult to read. But anyway, we uh we get through a big chunk of Curse of Strahd. They actually got through it pretty quick with our own little twist to it. They saved Libetha, not even dealing with the vampire setup I had planned because somebody decided that he should tell the rest of the group not to follow the music. But anyway,
Party pooper.
we get out of there. Yeah, he's not here right now to
What
defend
was it,
himself.
Tyler or was it me?
Yeah, it was Tyler.
Tyler.
Oh
You
yeah.
you and Crunk were all Angus were all for it. You were like, let's follow that music. Even Crib was like shake because at the time he was a mute, which I keep forgetting he's a mute, and I'll talk for him sometimes. So if you guys want to watch me mess up, make sure you tune in Wednesdays. But yeah, uh, we uh we get out of there quick. You guys get to Libetha. Libetha takes you back. You guys then get to the mansion, and you're attacked by Medusa and her boyfriend and her boyfriend's little pet lizard thing. It was great. It was great. Which you guys killed the boyfriend. Medusa escaped with her pet lizard, and this is when Ross was also there, and he asked you guys to do something for him. Do you remember what that was?
We had to get him like 3 items, I think.
Yeah.
This is correct. He wanted 2 of them in which you already had. And then you had to go get the last one, which was the staff that he needed, the staff of uh Bahamut, I believe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Staff of
And
something.
isn't that what we broke in half at the to kill 2 vampires? And
Yeah, and so you guys had to at this time you had level up enough where you learned our warp spells and you warped there, and you and Horcrux, I believe. And Angus stayed behind with Libetha because she was pretty badly hurt. I'm trying to find where I had the 3 items written down. Well, anyway, this doesn't have to be a identical recap. You guys want to actually get a feel for the campaign, you can watch Wednesdays. But anyway, they bring them the 3 items in exchange for Kriv, who was stolen during the fight. And they threw body parts out. It was great. It was gruesome. After they did this, it was kind of silent, and so Angus decided that he needed. Well, okay. It was actually Angus wanted to go see his family, but it was against his wishes why they were going there, because they were going to meet Libetha's sister, Albitha, who it was known in all throughout Pandolin, which is where Angus grew up and lives currently, that she eats dwarves. And at the time, it was a fairy tale, which the boys are about to fill you in, I think. So, but on the way, before they do, they found a burial site. And in that burial site, they discovered the body of Angus's dad.
we also met his uncle.
Oh, yeah!
Oh yeah.
King Biden sucks!
King Biden sucks.
Uncle Biden sucks. Yeah.
It turns out he wasn't really a king. He was playing as king in a little fort that he built or found. And it turns out he was the uncle to Angus, and a little delusional, a little off his rocker. He actually went out and got lost, and it had been years since they seen him, and Angus helped him return home, which is actually a sad story, but we'll get to that later. And yeah, so we bring the body of Angus's dad to his mom's house. And you guys have to go up the hill to go to Abatha's treehouse. Abatha? And you're basically dragging Angus, kicking and screaming, and Rich.
And I just flat out asked her, I was like, "Do you eat dwarves?"
Did she lie to you?
I don't know if she lied, but I remember her drugging us.
She lied to you.
She put me in the basement with dwarf remains.
I believe I was in the living room. I fell asleep eating cookies or something like that.
Yeah, cookies are drugged. And that's when the campaign all fell asleep because they fell for it, except for dun 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 dun, Tyler Horcrux, who seen through the plot, saved Angus, and basically got everyone alive and out of there down to Pandolin, where Rich was stolen and lifted to an altered dimension where he was talking to his father, and his father told him what he wanted.
He wanted me to basically go complete evil and like kill my friends and kill his mother and as it would turn out, he needs to sacrifice me anyway.
Angus, what did he offer you?
I cannot remember.
He offered you to kill Rich, right?
I know he. Oh, I mean, yeah, I forgot what I got in return was.
He said that you would sit at his side and basically have eternal life, and he's gonna give you all
Oh
the
yeah.
money in the world. And he's told the same thing to Horcrux. And it turns out that he wanted them all distracted.
This is the part
So,
where I was asleep for like 2 months.
oh yeah, I also forgot that they called for Renara and Libetha, and they got them to the treehouse. And then all this went down. They started decided they needed to sleep. So they go to sleep at the treehouse. And Rich goes to sleep first because after all the stuff happened, Angus's brother died. Kriv cut off Rich's hand, had to be grown back.
I've had my hand cut off 3 times in this campaign.
King Biden
Three
sucks
times.
died. Sorry, Angus, to your uncle. There was a bunch of stuff that went down.
Skipping.
What are we missing?
We're also skipping Patty. I think. Do we need to tell everybody?
Oh,
who Patty is?
I will get to Patty. Don't you worry about your little dwarf fantasy. Okay. And during all this, Rich's hand was cut off. He needed it grown back. And in our campaign, I know that everyone's different, so don't be telling me what's right and what's wrong because everything could be done differently in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, especially in a homebrew campaign. It's a bunch of business. And Rich hand got cut off, and there's a doctor in town, little dwarf who is friends with Angus's mom, who was there anyway because King Biden sucks, dying, and they tried to save him. And yeah, grew Rich's hand back twice. Or I think Angus did the second one, didn't you? Yeah, yeah, Angus
Or
did
the
the
third
second one.
one.
We're forgetting something. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
When I had bought the little shack, and
Oh yeah.
they went on ahead of me and came up to they needed me to detect magic at a waterfall or something, and they had to come and just bear hug me and drag me there because
That was the third sister.
That was the third witch sister, Scabatha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they were both working with Ross Dogmeyer.
Yeah. The Betha sisters seemed to be working for Ross, except for Lebetha, who who seems to be deranged in thinking that her sisters will side with her over Ross.
And
Which
she also got kidnapped a second time and was put in the sewers too.
yeah, and the sad part about Libetha is she ended up giving her life so that Angus could have. Well, she died, but she ended up having Angus absorb her life so that Angus could have, because she was Angus's Patreon, so that he could have some special powers out of a spell book given to him by Libetha. And when she died, she had him uh, absorb him so that he could keep his powers after she passed. And she's inside his head currently. And the only Betha sister that seems to be on their side. And let's see, what else am I missing? You guys will learn more when you start watching the campaign. It's not something we're giving you like a good basis, and from there, you should be good to catch up with us every Wednesday for the foreseeable future of our campaign. Um, let's see here. To bring you to present day, they brought Libetha and Renara there. Tyler or Horcrux and Angus were debating on killing Rich in his sleep to get the rewards that were promised to them by Ross. And that's when they learned that they had been duped, because everyone woke up in a really misty, dreamlike place.
And we all went through the movie Groundhog Day.
Angus, I'm gonna let you start this one because you were like the main uh, focal point of this dream.
I kept waking, being located or positioned in a tavern where my dad, I should add my dead dad, wanted me to join him for supper for about to eat. And I eventually, I mean, after trying to avoid it because I definitely smell a rat. After being positioning it, three times? The
Yeah.
third time, I'm like, screw it, let's eat. I'm hungry anyway. And done that. And y'all gonna have to help me out. I don't forget what we talked about, but I remember all that.
He basically started talking about stuff that never happened.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
in
right.
that
He
world, it was
playing
different. Yeah.
football and the winning touchdown. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember, yeah.
Yeah. He kept bringing up stuff that in this dream world probably happened, but in your world never did. And eventually, Angus got through that segment and was able to make it down to town, where he discovered Rich, who was running for, I don't know if he was running, but he was walking from the restaurant.
Well, a couple of things happened to me in this that was interesting. First, I saw a woman who looked like she seen a ghost when she saw me, and she looked just like my mother, who's supposed to be dead. And then
Ooh.
Patty comes up to me, the doctor, is running up to me, is like, Rich, what have you done? I mean, where have you been? I've been so worried about you. The kids are worried about you. So, like, I'm married to her, and I have two kids suddenly.
And who did you find in the restaurant as well?
Oh, Kriv was the cook there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kriv, who was tooken by Ross. And what was the strange thing about everyone but the people you guys are mentioning? Do you guys remember?
Some of them looked more real than others.
Yeah.
Some of them were like all misty and stuff, but like some of them you could tell like were real people.
Some of them they came across as video game-ish. Like they came across.
Oh, repetitive
Yeah.
and yes.
Yes, that unless they had a real soul, they did not seem, which the boys found out later, so I can say this. They did not seem real unless they were real. So that was the big, like, they would repeat themselves. They would try to cater to the characters' needs as the story progressed, trying to keep them there, keep them persistent, which Rich almost fell for it as he went and spent the day with his wife and kids who weren't real.
Oh, also, it should be mentioned that what was I about to say? Something about my mom. It's like, oh yeah, mom was remarried. She was remarried to a dwarf.
Yeah. And there were some aspects of this that ended up being real, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Angus, after meeting with Rich and then coming up with what they needed to do after visiting the blacksmith shop and discovering who?
My brother.
Your dead brother,
Yeah.
who turned out to be just
Oh,
a.
and he was
Go ahead.
working on the light sword. We found out we need light magic to defeat Ross, and he was working on a sword for me.
And as Angus and Artemis started working together to craft this sword, uh, they got it done. And then it was Angus, I believe, who discovered Ross first, wasn't it?
Well, he came by the house to see me and the kids.
Oh
'Cause he
no,
was taking the kids.
it was you that discovered, and then Angus showed up, and then you guys came up with a plan to follow him.
Oh yeah.
And it was at that point that they found the exit to this world they were in.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like a little dome thing, and we couldn't go past this certain point.
Yeah, because it was like Groundhog Day. Anytime they tried to leave the barrier, they would boom restart the day.
And I think the light sword was the key to opening the portal. But I wasn't going to leave without my mom, so I went to get my mom, and I ended up kicking the door down and knocking her unconscious.
Well, easy to carry her.
Yeah, and they got Kriv out, they got the mom out, they got themselves out. After realizing a lot, you guys woke up surrounded by blood. But you guys were intact. However, when you woke up, Kriv wasn't there, and Faith, Rich's mom, was nowhere to be seen. You guys were in the treehouse. You guys followed the blood.
The light sword wasn't there either.
Oh, and the light sword wasn't there either. Uh, or no, you had the light sword. You did.
No, we had to remake it once we.
Oh, okay.
once
No, you're
we
right.
Went
You're
back
right.
to real world.
You're right. My bad. My apologies. Anyway, you guys woke up. You followed the blood upstairs, and that's when you guys discovered Libetha had been pretty badly dismembered. And Renara had turned on you guys.
Well, actually, we just heard her voice at that time. We didn't find her body till we went back to her actual house.
Okay. Yep. Body parts. She came to you. She guys told you that she'd been attacked. That you'd have to find her body. And that Renara turned on you guys and is working with Ross. And uh, another thing we left out from earlier, Renara. I know I kind of just mentioned stuff, and well, as you guys start watching, you'll get a better feel because we do a lot of remembering, so to speak, kind of recapping as we play. So you guys will get a better feel and stuff as we go. But Renara is a half dragon, or she is a dragon, but she can transform into a person, and she is a bronze dragon, I believe. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you're right.
and anyway, she turned out to be evil, and now the boys have several things going for them. They get back to town. They create the light sword. And Angus has learned that he has blacksmith powers that given to him by his dead brother as a final gift, as his soul passed on.
Since Tyler isn't here, I think we should go kind of into his story. That
Yeah,
he kept going away and doing research on why he was wanted, and he's got this flaming
yeah.
scimitar, and there
Tyler,
was like only two of them
Tyler, the person that
in existence.
Tyler, the person that plays Horcrux, he disappears a lot because his job requires a lot out of him, and sometimes we don't get him for every session. So we've come up with reasons why, and one of them reasons is he goes off on his own and tries to figure stuff out, but he never quite gets enough done. But Tyler stayed at this Waylorn Lodge, who was owned by Greg the Garlic Farmer, which if you guys know what that's too great. If you don't, it'll come up later. Greg the Garlic Farmer owned the Waylorn Lodge. He was assassinated by someone, which later we turned out to be Ross Dogmore, who was staying at the same lodge as Tyler
Big surprise.
the night that he died, because he was actually there keeping an eye on Horcrux. And things happened and got out of hand because Greg the Garlic Farmer was good friends with Horcrux. And Greg left the lodge to Tyler, but he can't go back there until he clears his wanted name, because the king never wants him dead for stealing his flaming scimitar sword. And there's two in existence. One belongs to the Connelliers, or not the Connelliers, the Cruxes, and the other belongs to the Never family, because there was two royal families that started the town of Neverwinter, which you guys would know Neverwinter's from, but we use it in different ways in our campaign. And then Tyler comes into the bubble just like all of them. He is in Neverwinter, and he discovers the princess from Monnovia, who he realizes is alive, and she would be the last heir to the throne to save Renovia. So that is why Tyler tries to get her out. Ross tries to stop him several times. Ross lets a couple things slide that he probably shouldn't have. That basically, Ross himself cannot kill Tyler due to a blood pact he made with Tyler's mom. So, in the process of everything that went down, oh, and Tyler's mom is like a real big thief in Never, and currently the dad died in a war, and the mom hasn't been seen and is assumed to be dead. And we get to he gets out with the princess, and in the process loses the princess just like everyone else. He wakes up in the closet at the treehouse, which if you notice, he got put aside and safely placed, unlike the others who were just left out where they were. And he gets out, he finds the blood, discovers the same things the boys do. He finally catches up with the boys. Everyone exchange stories. They then go to the local market where they run into this old grumpy, can I say racist? I can say racist, right? Racist dwarf. Racist.
Yeah. He doesn't like humans. I mean,
He doesn't like anyone that's not dwarf.
Or tieflings. Yeah.
And he was real rude to Rich, and then he was real rude to Horcrux, until later he went back to apologize to Horcrux, and then they discovered that he is his grandfather. And some stuff go down there, which will bring us to current story almost. As stuff's going down and Angus is running his blacksmith shop, Rich gets help from Angus in buying a house, selling their old shack that Angus had purchased with the help of the boys that they all pitched in on. And they bought this Dogmore house that we've kind of left out of the story. I'm trying to remember how to bring it back into the story. this house on the corner in Pandalin, which we will show you when we get back into the campaign Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, but next when you guys see it. The house, they see Ross in, they chase him up it, and a Crivis, or no, a Criv, they chase a Crivis in there after Criv was stolen that second time or first time.
Oh, we've forgotten one big piece of the story since you reminded me of the house.
What's up?
It turned out that Ross actually had his own daughter murdered.
Oh yeah, big part of the story. Ross
Oh yeah.
had his daughter murdered. He tried to have his wife murdered. He sent his wife on the ship with Acrivus.
Ross is a very complicated character because, like, when he had Criv's dad kill her, but then when he found out like she was raped too, that's when he got pissed off, and he actually took Criv's dad and snapped his neck. Like murdering her's one thing, but
yeah, he was very upset when finding out that the
he
R
had
word
some
happened.
decency for his daughter.
Yeah, he wanted him dead because he essentially it hasn't really come out yet why he does the things he does, but he's on the search for the ultimate power, and to do so, some choices had to be made in his mind, basically, and they'll discover later, which you guys we're starting to be up to recent time. They were working, they were sleeping. King never came to Pandalin, and Angus made him a sword. This sword in Dwarven had war written on the handle. King never purchased the sword, took
And
it. Go ahead.
I called him. I told him a fake name because you will soon learn that people do not like my last name, Dogmore. Usually when they're like Dogmore, it'd be like going in the middle of Hollywood and saying, "Hi, I'm Chris Trump."
And anyway, God dang you. King never takes this sword. They go has a meeting with the dang it, what are they called?
Elder.
Yeah, the elder.
Elders, yeah.
He was called something else. And let me see here. Oh, almost lost it. Almost lost it. I got this written down somewhere. 1 second. Arnold was the town's what? I guess I don't have it written down. We'll just say elder. So the dwarves' government, since there was a big war, King Never's been trying to take over Renovia. He's been trying. He right now he does have control of Renovia, and he's been trying to take over Fatopia, all of Fatopia, and all the surrounding cities of Never have so far warded off his attack because the dwarven armies were so strong the first war, and King Never knew who he needed to attack. He came to Pandalin. He got the sword made by a dwarven blacksmith, the most disrespectful thing he could do. And he went and met with the elder at their big government building, and he killed him. And in the process, Angus's mom, who is the local baker, and she makes the best pie in all of Fatopia. Everyone from miles around comes to have Angus's mom's pie, and she gets wounded, but luckily the boys save him. And in the process, the boys find out that they have 3 days until war.
I think it's
Actually,
needs to be stated.
remember before that happened, we got captured by the soldiers. They came in and stuck in the house, and like one of them put like a knife to my throat and asked who I really was, and that's when like the war broke out. And
Oh yeah,
and that
I kind of skipped over that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that I'm kind of just like simplifying everything, and then if they really want to watch after hearing all this, they can go catch us every Wednesday, starting
Well,
next Wednesday.
I think it needs to be stated that after the injury to my mom from the king, that I have stated I'm killing the king. I even said I before the war broke out. How we found out about the war is I was going there by myself because no one wanted to follow me. Had a bunch of
Oh,
guys.
you haven't mentioned Erich.
Yes, yeah. Oh, Erich. Erich is from one of our previous campaigns, so if you guys don't get the inside jokes sometimes, uh, he he is he is a unique character played by me. Uh, Erich, what? He's obsessed with fountains. How would you guys explain Erich?
He likes to.
he
He's a weird. He's a weird little shit that loves to get naked and jump in fountains and take baths.
What would you say, Crunk?
he he gets his rocks off by getting in a fountain, butt
Yeah,
naked in front of
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. He's not shame. There is no shame in that little halfling.
Zero shame.
Zero shame. He is all but like 2 foot some inches. There is no shame in that little
And
dude.
he's a pig.
Yeah. And he eats like a savage. But uh, to Angus and Angus's mom, he is the utmost respectful
Oh yeah, I mean
in
yeah.
in certain terms. I mean, he's still disgusting and repulsive sometimes, but he
And he helped me save Patty too.
yeah, and he helped Rich.
But it is stated, I'm killing the king.
It is
I've not
stated.
put my foot down. I said I'm doing it, and
You
if someone
guys
kill, if
had
someone kills the king in this party, there will be repercussions.
now that Angus has laid down his current law, which you guys will learn that Angus that is in character. Angus in character and Krugman out of character really close because Angus is that guy that you just don't want to piss off, okay? He is that little dwarf that'll fight you over anything that means the world to him. And his town, his family, his little slice of paradise, that is Angus's everything. And
Yes.
Angus is also starting to get a soft place for everyone in his party. Uh, and it shows over the course of stuff, except for him and Horcrux butt heads from time to time, which you guys will see. And um,
Everybody butts heads with Horcrux.
now we're leading up to the war. I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit. You guys go to get some towns on your side. You guys want Bob, the blacksmith.
When did the showdown with Ross come? When he tried to kill
We're
me?
we're getting there. We're getting there. So you guys go
Okay.
save Bob because Bob is gonna be executed, right? And then you let them know that the wars broke out, and Bob and Betty come back with you to Pandolin after you guys somehow perfectly escaped Bob from the local jail, and you get him back. Yeah, yeah. You got something you want to say, Angus?
Not yet.
All right, you guys get Bob back, Bob, and then Oko shows up, who is a half orc. And he kind of talks a little funny, which I can't do at the moment. I'm hoping I'll be able to do it by the time we DM again. Um, but
Like very masculine Christopher Walken.
yeah, he talks slow and methodical, and he's waiting on the rest of the armies to show up. You guys have gotten a lot of people to show up to help fight in this war, uh, except for women and children and anyone who can't fight. Elders are being sent to a far off town where they will be guarded and safe. And you guys have got a lot of orders to fill in. Angus, you weren't able to get all of them done, but you tried your little heart out. You tried your best. You got pretty much all your list done, but then when you went and like shit, there was probably more orders because there was like 3 days that went by and no one checked orders, and then they went back and checked orders, and turns out, whew, boy, were we underestimating, weren't we? And and yeah, so they're all working on stuff. Everything's going down. everyone goes to sit down to have a nice meal before the big war. Right? You guys remember this?
Mhm.
Yes.
And who was all in the room? It was Rich. It was Angus.
Me, Horcrux, and Angus.
Horcrux, I don't think was there. I think he was with Erich,
Yeah.
sleeping.
Oh.
Or was Horcrux there?
I can't remember.
Yeah, because he had to be warped away. Kriv warped him away, remember?
Yeah. He warped him away to the blacksmith shop to work on more weapons.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, you guys are sitting there at the table, and everyone gets frozen
Yeah.
except for Angus. And they're stuck, and Ross appears. Ross needs to kill Rich for some reason to harness all of this dark magic power so he can take over the world. He steps forward, puts a knife to the throat of his son. And that's when the boys did their best. And somehow, some way, saved Rich's life.
We went full John Wick in there.
Rich turns around with the light sword that he needs to plant in his dad because his dad is at this point a bunch of dark magic that all it takes is plunging this light sword into his abdomen and he starts to absorb it. And Ross Dogmore is currently dying because he can't remove it, he can't touch it, and his body's absorbing it. It's like
that
a
was
poison.
also where I lost my hand for a third time.
Yep, because there was no other way. It was stuck to him. And yeah, Rich, you take it from there. I gotta go figure out. Oh, never mind. Thought my dog took off on me, but she's right here. All right, so but yeah, so yeah, Ross disappears. He has to take off, and you guys now get to prepare for war.
Oh, and Kriv was dying. Kriv handed me like this crystal, and then Kriv was like dying because he was bleeding from everywhere or for some reason.
Yep, Kriv passed away. And I forgot to mention that Rich had a slurry, or not a slurry, a crew of horses, and they went and sold them off, and they found Kriv in the real world after finding him in the fake one, and he was really scared of Rich.
Mhm.
He was missing a hand, had like a little claw there. He was missing an eye with a big scrape across it, and
Missing a tail too.
yeah, missing his tail, and was really scared of Rich, and yeah, and then
Also,
Kriv.
in the process, some dummy warped back to Stormwreck Island, and there was no point to it, and he lost the cape of invisibility.
Well, I was gonna leave that out until you guys needed the cape invisibility again. But yes, for some reason he really thought that he could go back to Stormwreck Isle, the base of Renara's everything, with all her minions and workers that are all of her family, and get them to work with him. And drops the cape of invisibility. Doesn't say I put it away. Doesn't say, he just says I take it off. I take it off. And he took off that cape of invisibility, and guess what happened? One of them kobolds scooped it up. And we come back to present day. After that little fiasco with Ross, they are now in war. And they have to get through all these people to get to basically the base of the war. And they have fought their way through a lot of these people. I mean, They're just fighting.
Okay, I think it should be noted here that I had the best day I've ever had in rolling. I can ask them. I am notorious for bad rolls, like back to back nat ones, low rolls. But today, that day, I was on fire. I was doing 19s, nat 20s, and I killed 4 enemy soldiers. That was like my best day of rolling ever.
You agree to that statement, Angus?
Golf
Yeah,
clap.
golf clap. It's true. He's known for bad rolls across the board,
Yeah.
and he did really good. I thought he was gonna die that day. But I mean, it's not over yet because that's where we left off. Uh, and they're trying to get to the council building to to win the war. I mean, they're gonna get to the council building, figure out where they got to go from there. There's still a lot to figure out. They don't really know, so that's kind of where we're at.
Oh,
Anything you guys
and
feel
that
like
was
we
where
need to
burnt
mention?
nipples got burned again.
Oh, Horcrux snuck around the other way. So the boys went one way, Horcrux went the other way, which ended up being bad for Horcrux. But on the way, the man found a bush to hide in and peeked over at these fancy-looking guards trying to break into the council building. And in the process, he picks one out of the lineup. There's four of them. I had him roll a d4. Just happened to be the one that we all know and love as Burnt Nipples, who got his nipples burnt twice in this series. First, he used to work for the King Renovia, and then they were running the town of Renovia. And then when they burned his nipples, he all ran to King Never. That's how King Never took over Renovia, and that's how he's now part
Just
of
a
King
second.
Never's royal guard. And
It was. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you're good.
It was great to hear. Oh God, not again!
And yeah, that's kind of where we're at, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys tune in to our D&D session in the world of Fatopia. It'll be Wednesdays. I don't know when this will be out. So if this comes out past this Wednesday, because today is what's today?
Monday.
Monday. So I'm gonna try to get this up by this Wednesday, and then it'll be every Wednesday following that. We should have an episode, but like I said, we got regular lives that we try to do. Stuff happens. So if we do not get an episode up, just be expecting it in the next couple of weeks because this is an ongoing campaign that we've been playing, guys. Drumroll, almost a year. Almost a year. We are at like
Been that long?
9-10 month mark somewhere in there.
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and so we're almost there. We're this is almost a year campaign, and the way that I have it written and continue to write, we're not stopping anywhere. If one of them dies, they're just starting a new character at the level that I need them to continue, and they will be reintroduced to the group like that. It'll be an ongoing D&D campaign until the day I die. Which it's an inside joke to both of them. Notice how they didn't smile though, because maybe it's not a funny one. But guys, thank you for
No,
tuning
it's
in,
not.
and I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap. I know it was all over the place, but we weren't prepared to do this kind of recap because at first this was just going to be amongst the boys. We were just having fun. I had never DM'd before. This is my first campaign. Um, Rich had never played before, right? I believe.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and this was my first time playing and DMing and all that, so it was a good time. And like I said, it's a homebrew. So if you see something you're like, that's not how you're supposed to D&D, well, you can write your comment
You can
down
still
below.
rock.
But if you're expecting
We'll
a
just
comment,
ignore it.
yeah, if you're expecting a comment back from us, we don't care, but we will appreciate the comments below because we like being boosted in the algorithm.
It helps our algorithm.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this little recap episode. And starting next Wednesday, if it's not this Wednesday, then it's the next Wednesday. You'll learn as we get going. That we'll see you then, boys. Anything you want to add before we go?
Um. Well, you said that this is your first time playing NDM, and this is Chris's first time. This this is not mine. I have another separate campaign, another separate group that I play with, and I reckon Was it me that kind of kick-started all this, talking about it, and you got the wondering and decided to get into it?
So what happened is I shared the movie, and you were like, dude, I really want to watch that, and I was like, it hadn't come out yet, I don't believe, and we were just watching trailers of it, and I was like, uh, or no, and then you also added that you play every Sunday, and that you and the boys were gonna go watch it when it comes out in theaters,
Oh yeah, it's a great
and
movie too.
and I was like, oh, you play D&D? I've always wanted to play D&D, but I've never had anyone to play with. And he goes, well, I mean, we could play. And then so
Yeah.
we started looking into it. I got the books, and then I got hooked. And then Rich joined us, and Tyler, I believe, had played a couple times before, but not a lot.
He played a session with my group, my original group, and I, my my brother was DMing this session that he was playing. This was his first time ever playing, and sadly, this is also my brother's first time DMing, and he made the campaign extremely too hard, harder than what he should have. This being Tyler's first time, had no clue, and still getting new to the game. It seemed like he died 5 minutes into the campaign.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor
But
guy, yeah.
but
But I mean, in
it's
his defense, it was I mean, it's going on record that he made the campaign entirely way too hard.
well, you guys heard it from us. D&D session. When we come back and you guys see this group again for the D&D show, uh, we will be doing the war, and one of them can die. This isn't a D&D campaign where they can't die; they're indestructible. They have hit points. If they die, they die. I don't even keep track of their hit points. They do, so I don't even know if they're close to death. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you. Hope you tune in because we have a lot of fun with this, and I think you will too. We'll see you
Well,
when we see you. Oh,
before we go, I
one
wanted
more.
to say let's everybody tune in to FMW and CWC, our new project, and be sure to comment on the videos, like the videos, and comment on why Christopher Rich is the best and why he's your favorite.
This man, he's always about himself. Even when he's on commentary and supposed to be one-sided, this man be all about himself. But now you know who he'll be when he's sitting over there sucking Rich's dick on commentary, and we'll see you guys real soon. Peace.